Hello everyone and welcome back to another wonderful fresh cast from the Cookie Maker. Today we're going to be watching a PvZ brought to you by 4K's Gerbil, who has recently posted a completely comprehensive guide on how to play Zerg against Protoss, and especially the things like timings, tech, and engagements you're looking for. We're going to speed things up a little bit here, and until we get to a little bit more of the strategic part of this, but realistically, you should really go read the guide on Team Liquid. It helps out a lot for a lot of different situations, as well as recognizing them and the reaction you should pull with it. Now, interestingly enough, you'll notice he put down a 12 spawning pool there. It's very similar to the 11-18 opening, that's 11 pool and 18 hatch, but this one allows the Zergling speed to get out a little bit faster, just in case of 4 gates coming. So if you want to read more about that, again, it's on the guide on Team Liquid, posted by Gerbil himself. As well, that quick spawning pool ensures that his hatchery goes down exactly when he wants it to, on the 21 supply mark there, and he gets to chase back with these 4 lings, and forces a couple of chronos out of this gateway just to make sure that no big ling busts are coming. As of yet, he has not sent a drone scout into his opponent's main, so these lings are the only scouting he's done so far. However, he's going to keep this ling here and spot for any little expansions coming out, and we've also seen in the past that he's used this ling to run by if he sees the full army moving out. As we go back to speed things up a little bit, he does in fact see that his opponent is expanding, so he knows this is a 1-gate expand build. Otherwise, you just simply wouldn't have the money for it if he threw down more gates. So what does he do? He immediately responds by cranking out those drones, getting that speed up, and really cranking those drones and saturating that set. As the game progresses, you'll see that Gerbil realizes he's going to be really high on money, so he'll take his third quite quickly as well before heading, right after heading to lair here, pardon me. As well, as soon as he gets that lair up, he's also going to transform this Overlord into an Overseer to check what's going on. As now, he has seen that these sentries, tiny little sentry force has been started to push out, as he's seen by the scouting lings at the main here. In previous replays, we've seen that pack of lings is a lot larger, but in this case, he knows that his opponent really can't put any pressure on him at all, so he's just been using them as watches, just to watch the entrances. He's going to pull back now and produce a lot more lings and roaches just to counter anything that to counter this small push coming out. And our Protoss realizes that he's in a little bit of danger here and should not be doing a little Huck push with those sentries, because realistically only Huck can pull it off with brilliant micro. And he does in fact kill a couple of the Zerglings coming in here. But I don't know if anyone else just saw that little kill here. We're going to rewind just 1 or 2 seconds here. And we're going to see this Zergling is going for a nice little happy trip around the main. He's just gone all the way around and knows exactly what's going on in the main here. So, if we go to Gerbil's vision for a second, we see in the main 3 gates, a Robo, and that's it. Went all the way around, took a nice good look, sees it, knows exactly what his opponent is doing. Saw a nice little ground army full of sentries. He is expecting ground army. He knows what's up. He's got his third up and running. He is about to crank drones, saturate that third, and then get his army rolling, because he knows that he is very, very safe for the time being, especially because 3 gateways and 1 Robo do not have a lot of production capacity. As we move up in the replay, we see that our purple Protoss is taking a sneaky 4th, but Gerbil, knowing that the money's got to be going somewhere, if it's not going to be in a big army, is going to scout around and check for it. He's going to send a couple of lings around, and eventually we'll end up finding it after it is completed, I do believe. Gerbil right now just pumping those drones, getting them good upgrades for the roaches. Of course, the +1 upgrade, +2 upgrades for the attack is it's an interesting choice, but now we're going to see a small little conflict in the middle, as well with those immortals and sentries out. The complete objective of Gerbil for this at this point is to just trade really cost efficiently. And what does he want to do? He wants to trade his mineral heavy units for gas heavy units. If he can take down those sentries with these roaches and lings, he's doing really well. As well, if he can snipe off an immortal or 2, that'd be good too. In this case, we'll just see what this engagement happens. Just a couple of roaches lost, and I don't know if he lost anything at all there, but it was really good deflection by Gerbil, considering that his army was probably a little bit worth a little bit less. Now we see a big ling counter going for the gold. He knows it's there, so he's going to either try and force an engagement, and then he's going to try to get do a bit of sniping, but he's left the bulk of his roach army at home. All the while this has been going on, after he took his third and he's gotten his gas up, he got the infestors out, and the infestors play a critical role, because if you can get those out early and start building up the energy on them, you can trade that energy for units, effectively. If you use that energy really well, then it just comes right back, and you get to save it, whereas you can kill off these units. So a little bit of lane counter, not going to do much damage, and he gets out of there before anything really drastic happens. But he does know the third's there, and it's always, and interestingly enough, because he took that third so far away, Gerbil's gonna use that to force his opponent into engagements that his opponent does not want to do. At this point, Gerbil is pretty far ahead on supply. It's not normal in this situation to be that far ahead of your opponent on supply, but in this case, because he took an early natural and an early third, he was allowed to drone up and crank the units out. And so at this point, it's heavy Infester, heavy Roach, heavy Ling, all because he knows exactly what his opponent is doing. It is gonna be, if we once again go back to his vision and check out what he's seen so far, he knows it's still just Robo play. He has not scaled it any further. But he's seen the Immortals, and he sees where all the gas is going, so he knows that just based on pure army composition, that's exactly what should be happening. As well, we see this robotic phase down, so we know Colossus are going to be coming out. And inevitably, Gerbil's going to have to know that too, because a Void Ray or Phoenix or Carrier transition out of this is really not that common. Occasionally, players will mix in High Templar, especially if you stay with heavy Ling. But with this many Roaches, it's not as likely to see that many High Templar. This is where Gerbil really wants to strive. He wants to trade all those heavy energy fungals, pardon me, the heavy energy infestors for the army at this point. He wants to force an engagement because if he can get, Colossus caught out of position. Is it going to go down? It's, pulled back. At this point, Gerbil is so far ahead in supply. Pardon me, not so far ahead, but because this is the maxed out point for Zerg, he wants to engage long before the Protoss gets maxed out. That's one of the things that he has stressed over and over in his guide. You want to trade cost efficiently. If you can continue to trade cost efficiently with the Protoss army while you're expanding and while you continue to macro well and mine well, you will always be at a significant advantage because of how often your reinforcements can come in compared to how often his can. Of course, his army is more powerful. And it's more, well, possibly not in this situation, but it's at least more expensive. So if he has to replenish his army the same number of times that you do, but you're mining more efficiently and you're constantly keeping the pressure on, you're doing a great job, especially if you can keep those infestors alive. Because keeping those infestors alive is crucial to allow them to keep bringing the energy back up. Again, that energy is free, so if you can use it to take care of some of the units from the Protoss, but you're doing really well. A couple of fungals going down now, holding that Colossus in place. He knows he wants to snipe it. He's going to end up pulling these infestors back before they take too many hits, losing a couple here, but losing just almost too many, but still retaining 4 or 5 in his army, as well pulling back after cleaning out that base almost completely. And again, he's engaging really well, sending in a couple of more fungals in, and just engaging with really, really heavy Roach, which in this case, it has kept him ahead in supply. Now look at this. You might think that he got decimated in that, but realistically, only 2 Colossus survive. This Colossus is relatively lower on health, but look at the supplies. It's 160 to 103. That's a really, really effective trade for Gerbil, who was just maxed out. He just effectively lost 100 supply and rebuilt 60 of it instantly, whereas Needlelip lost 60 supply, or 80 supply, and only rebuilt a little bit of it. He's a little bit, and Gerbil's the one who's high on money, not Needlelip. So, well done for Gerbil. He had really good cost-efficient engagement there. And again, he fungals and pulls the army in place. And is going to do even more damage as soon as his big reinforcement wave comes. Needlelip knows that he's going to have to pull back here because any second, a ton more Roaches and Lings are going to be popping out. And there they are. Again, one of the things that Gerbil mentioned is that if you are low on gas, which in this case he is because, look at this. Hive Tech is already done. And Spire already done. Pardon me for not mentioning that earlier, but Spire's almost done, I should say. But what I should have said is, all the while we're looking at those engagements, Gerbil is doing a really, really good job of teching up behind it and getting his Spire out and his Hive, so he'll be able to go to Greater Spire really fast and engage with those powerful Brugoids. Now this little observer who's been keeping tabs on him the whole time is still keeping tabs here, but Gerbil again doing a really good job keeping them with those upgrades, getting that +3, getting the +2 Carapace, and adding even more infestors because they're so effective when they have the high energy. He's so far done a really good job trading cost efficiently and has kept our Protoss on only 2 Colossi. 3 Colossi now coming out. And our Protoss is trying to take his 4th because he knows that he's a little bit behind, especially after losing a ton of probes with the big counterattack that was forced by Gerbil at the natural 3rd. Gold. At this point, Gerbil wants to force another engagement. He knows he's ahead on supply again, and if he can engage cost efficiently again, he's doing really well. Now, check this out. One of the best parts about fungals is they do a lot of damage to sentries. Yeah, sentries. One or two fungals can really drain a sentry's health, and they'll get really weak after that. And this army, with no sentries, is so vulnerable to Lings. I know the AoE of the Colossus is really powerful, but the Lings will crush it when you have this many, and they get fungled in place. Beautiful. Look at all those Colossus just getting sniped down, and eventually we're going to see a GG out of our Protoss, who is so far behind in supply now because of the cost-effective engagements that Gerbil has done, and he didn't even have time to get the Broodlords out. Well, that's this game, and I hope you continue watching for the next one, because Gerbil's guide is excellent, and he is showing all of us Zergies how you need to handle Protoss at all stages of the game. Have a wonderful day.